What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to talk with you guys about the feelings that came back after I watched a recent trending Korean drama. I don't watch too many K-dramas these days, but every now and then, my curiosity is piqued. This drama in question is The Glory. Now, for those who don't know, I used to be an English teacher from 2017 through 2018, early 2019. And then briefly last summer while I was in Korea.
여러분, 오늘은 다시 영어 선생님이에요. 어떡해?
I think from 2014 until 2016, I watched nothing but Korean dramas. And after I got to Korea, it slowed down because I was like living it. And you know, Korean dramas are really like, they're just for fun. You know, everything's dramatic and it's just for entertainment. But there is one thing that I think is very accurately depicted in Korean dramas. And no, it's not the sweet, Prince Charming, perfect, dreamy, romantic boys. That's the bullying or school violence that happens. I get a lot of messages from people who want to go to Korea to be English teachers. And one thing that I really hope you guys take with you from this video is if you do decide to go be a teacher in Korea, please carry the values that we have from the West over there. Like, I can't speak for every country, but I do know in the States, for example, bullying is like a big no-no. It's taken very seriously, and that probably has some correlation with those things tend to happen at schools as a result of bullying. So I wanted to talk about this because watching that drama, it's sad because so much of it is true. So I was at an elementary school, and then last summer I was at a hagwon. It kind of ranged from like young kids to like high school kids. I remember one situation in particular where lunch had just finished and I had like no classes until my afternoon or my after school classes. So I was kind of just sitting there lesson planning, going on YouTube, relaxing. And I remember hearing some kids scream in the hallway. And I went out there to go see what was going on. And the teachers, the homeroom teachers are gathered around watching these two kids. And one is crying and one is like standing over them like they're superior. And I tried to like step in to be like, hey, like what the fuck? And they're like, no, it's okay. They will solve this. They will figure this out. So they just sent me back into my classroom. I just sat at my desk hearing this kid scream in the hallway, and I'll play that now. What the fuck is going on? One thing that was very disturbing from The Glory, but pretty accurate, is how dismissive teachers tend to be. They say, oh, they're just playing. Oh, it's just a prank. Oh, these kids will solve it amongst themselves. Don't worry about it. They'll handle it. And it really disturbed me because I feel like I can't be a good teacher if I'm just letting this happen. Like if I'm just going on with my lesson and a kid is in the back crying or has their head down because some kid keeps picking on them, how can you be a good teacher? How is that okay? And you know, this carries into, you know, the world of K-pop because you keep seeing all these stories where like they've debuted now and they're famous and successful now, and then a story comes out from them being a bully or delinquent in middle school, high school, elementary school, whatever. Like the Physical 100, I forgot her name, but she was just called out for bullying back in the day. From Le Seraphim, literally weeks, about a month after their debut, she ended up having to leave the group because she was accused of being a bully. The thing that bothers me is when it's fake allegations. Like that fine boy, what's his name? Nam Ji-hyuk. And then they claim they were being bullied by them for 6 years, even though Nam Ji-hyuk moved like across the country. And I'm like, so did you move with him to be bullied and then had to backtrack? I was like, okay, well, it wasn't 6 years, but that's what I don't like, because any false allegation negates the true ones, the real times that stuff like this actually happens. I feel like when you know, these people get accused of bullying so much later in life, it causes fans, especially like in the West, to be like, oh come on, it was years ago, it was so long ago, why are you doing this now? But the things that these kids do to each other in school is very real. Now I've seen a lot. I haven't seen, you know, as bad as in The Glory where they were burning her, but where these kids would they were relentless. And I hate to say it, but the statistics of self-harm in Korea make a lot of sense to me. And I think one of the differences that's encouraging to like see finally happening in the world of Korea is that people are actually able to talk about it. Like seeing a whole drama dedicated to this extended revenge plot is really nice because a lot of people are talking about it. I like when these dramas can have impacts on real change and address real issues. Because even with the was it the Attorney Woo, the wonderful Attorney Woo, you know who I'm talking about, you know, it was a great drama. For so long, Korea would just not talk about like mental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, things like that. They would just pretend it doesn't exist, not direct it, not talk about it, not address it. I am positive I had several students through my course, my life of being a teacher, who had undiagnosed mental, physical, intellectual disabilities. And my teachers, the other staff just told me, we don't talk about it, let's not talk about it. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with the bullying as well. And after that blew up so popularly, people were like, oh yeah, we should talk about this some more. And I kind of feel like The Glory is doing that with bullying. There have been times where I'm just walking around Seoul, and sadly Hagwons get out at like 10 p.m. sometimes. It used to be later, but they made that illegal. But you would just see these kids in their school uniforms gather around somebody, picking on them in an alley, or you'll see the kid try to like laugh through it, but you could tell, you can read that body language and you know they're being bullied. I don't want this to be a long video, but I just, the things that I've witnessed as a teacher in Korea was really disturbing. And it's, you know, the adult's job to protect these kids and to not just be dismissive and they'll talk it through. I used to have to stop my lessons because I was like the main curriculum, the main English curriculum teacher, and I had a co-teacher who would kind of help me with distributing things or maybe some sort of translation sometimes. So we were always in the classroom together, and I'm in the middle of giving a lesson, and like everybody, you know, most kids were paying attention, but there would be one in the back who's like picking on somebody, throwing stuff at him, knocking his pencil on the floor, just being petty and being a bully. And my teacher, I would look at her and she's like, it's fine, keep going. And I'm like, no, it's not fine. So then I look at him, and then he's like, whatever, but he'll stop. And that's like the point. One of the best reasons I would stop the class, not only, you know, with stopping to look at the bully, look at the kid being a problem, cause him to realize I'm looking at you and I'm not gonna keep going with this lesson until you stop, is the rest of the kids in the class would also get impatient because they know if I don't get through the lesson, we don't finish the lesson, we don't get to play the game, we don't get the candy, they don't get to start recess early or lunch early or whatever, you know, incentivizes them to get through the lesson. And they would help me get him to stop. They'd be like, ya 조용해, ya 그만해, ya 빨리 해, like, yo, stop, the teacher's waiting for you, stop doing that. And it would help me get him to stop. Because if you just make them think this is okay and oh, they'll just solve this, no, that just normalizes it. There were many cases where I'm like the soft teacher. When you give effort, I want to reward you for giving effort. So I would give out a lot of candy. I was the Maichu teacher. At the end of the day, when we would play a game and I'm handing out the candy, my co-teacher would expect me to give it to the bad kids too, but I was like, And I say, we bullying, hitting, no, like we don't do that. And he just like, sim, like I'm the one in the wrong. But I felt it was my place to do that. And then when the kid who was getting picked on was like, thank you, teacher, meant the world to me. And I can't remember who it was, and I'm really sorry, but even in my DMs, people have been sending me clips of bullying in Korea and say, Isis, you should talk about this. Have you seen this? This is horrible. You should talk about this. And I honestly, because I feel like I've talked about bullying on my channel a bit before, but it's been like probably like 3 or 4 years since that happened. And I just watched The Glory and it's all fresh in my mind again, and it just re-triggered me, so now I felt it was appropriate time to talk about this. So again, if you are going to be an English teacher abroad, if you want to move to Korea to be an English teacher and teach, please don't just adopt the other homeroom teachers' approach of, oh, it's fine, it's just a prank. It's not fine, it's not just a prank. It should not be normalized. Like I said, people are finally starting to see this for what it is. School violence is a big deal, and I'm really glad that they're finally talking about it, because the things I've seen, and like they're so petty too, and like I'm talking standing in the lunch line, kids holding his tray, and then the kid keeps like taking his milk. When he wants to sit with his friends, the bully will sit there and say, you need to sit over there, you don't belong here. No. And like the teachers would see that and just be like, oh, it's fine. I feel like the main difference I need to highlight is, in America, yes, there's bullying, obviously there's bullying, but the bullies know not to do it in front of teachers, staff, parents, because they know there will be consequences and they'll be punished. Whereas in Korea, they'll openly do it in front of their homeroom teacher, the principal, the staff, and the adults chalk it up to, oh, they're just joking, they're just playing, and they know there's no consequence. How is it fine when they're crying, you know? And so seeing that part shown in the drama too, I was just like, yeah, it really be like that, goddamn. Korea really needs to start talking about this problem more, and I'm really glad they're finally starting to address bullying as the issue that it is and school violence as the issue that it is, because Korea also has another problem with, their population growth and everything. So if you don't protect these kids and make this a world that they want to be in, it just makes the problem even worse. Thanks for watching if you did. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong!